Amber from Love Fit. I'm going to do a quick video today about the best way to pick up your baby from the floor, taking into mind good pelvic floor control and health and abdominal separation. I decided to make this video because actually a couple of people from my classes have recently asked me about this, because there's a couple of things that most people do. Either, this is my baby for today, by the way. I thought I could use my toddler, but he's far too big. So this dog doorstop is my baby. So sometimes people just do this whole thing. You know, you're picking your baby up off the playmat. This is obviously really not good for your lower back. It's pretty obvious, but you know, a lot of people do that and pick the baby up from there. And especially if you're not using your breath to help control that, then there's just a lot of pressure going through the pelvic floor, the abdominal wall, and as I say, obviously the lower back. So other thing that people do, which is better in some ways, is that they come into that really deep squat, probably actually deeper than most people can comfortably squat. So they come into what we call the butt wink. You see how my bottom tips underneath, and pick the baby up like so. Now, the problem with that is that for a lot of people, particularly if you have any prolapse, if you have hemorrhoids, any kind of pelvic floor issues, if you are dropping into that very open position, while it's great for your birth prep, it's not so good post-baby for a lot of women. I'm not saying for everyone, and in many ways I'd rather see you drop into a nice squat to pick up your baby than leaning forward like this, but still just being aware, and especially if you tend to do it where you come up onto your, you know, lifting your heels up off the floor, that's going to put a lot of pressure on your knees. So those are a couple of, in most cases, don'ts. So how should you pick up the baby? So let me just move my baby over here. So the way I recommend is to actually step back into a lunge, and come down, and you can either be on both knees here and you pick the baby up, and then you come up into a lunge here and then you stand, okay? And the same if you were getting down to lower the baby onto, say, the play mat or a changing mat. If you have a changing mat on the floor, you come back here and then you'd come back into kneeling and lie the baby down. Now, I know that might look like a bit of, you know, a fanfare for just picking the baby up and down off the floor, but at the end of the day, I'm being asked so often by women, you know, I'm 7 months postnatal and I still feel I look a bit pregnant. When will this all change? And I just think all those little things, they really do add up. They really do. So I'm not saying that, you know, picking your baby up that way is going to miraculously change the entire shape and profiling of your body. But if you can avoid putting excessive pressure on your body by not doing massive deep squats or just flopping forward to pick the baby up, or this kind of thing, trying to scoop the baby up, if you can use your breath, making sure that once you've got the baby, you exhale to stand up, everything is going to lift up beautifully and naturally within your pelvic floor, within your core, and all of those little things add up. Because if you think about how many times a day you might pick that baby up and down off the floor, sure, some of you will have a changing table up here, so that's good, you're not going to be doing as much bending. But for most part, you know, if you are attending baby classes, a lot of the time the babies are on mats on the floor. As I say, just general kind of playtime, tummy time at home, you are going to be bending down and picking your baby up off the floor umpteen times a day. So even if you only remember to do this a few times a day, it's all going to be helpful when you start to add that in a bit more. Okay, so that's my tip on how to pick your baby up safely from the floor, and I hope you can put that to good use. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.